Reason 1. Deep emotional peace and freedom from stress. When most people imagine old age, they imagine it surrounded by family, children, grandchildren, or community. While that picture looks warm, the reality is often different. Many seniors quietly admit that living with too many people in the house creates stress. There's noise, constant obligations, arguments, and sometimes even disrespect. At 65 and beyond, the body and mind crave peace, not chaos. Living alone after 65 offers something priceless: emotional peace. This peace is not just silence in the house, it's silence in the heart. It's the ability to wake up slowly in the morning without someone rushing you, to enjoy your tea without interruption, to spend your afternoon with a book or music without anyone demanding your attention. Research shows that stress hormones like cortisol increase in seniors who live in crowded or argumentative households. Over time, high cortisol weakens the immune system, raises blood pressure, and shortens lifespan, but solitude lowers cortisol. That's why seniors who live alone often show stronger immunity and fewer stress-related illnesses. Think about it. When you live alone, you no longer have to argue about the TV volume, clean up after others, or feel guilty for resting when you're tired. You control your environment. This sense of control reduces stress and creates emotional balance. One 72-year-old man shared his story. After my wife passed, my children wanted me to move in with them, but I decided to stay in my own apartment. Every morning, I watched the sunrise quietly. That peace healed me more than any medicine could. That's the beauty of solitude in later years. It gives you back your time, your rhythm, your breath. Practical advice: seniors living alone should build small daily rituals that reinforce peace: morning tea in the balcony, short meditation, slow walks, or simply sitting in silence. These little habits anchor emotional health. In short, emotional peace is not a luxury, it's a medicine. Living alone after 65 gives you the rare chance to take that medicine every single day. Reason 2. Stronger independence and personal freedom. One of the biggest challenges seniors face after 65 is the slow loss of independence. Children begin making decisions on their behalf, relatives give too much advice, and society often treats them as if they're fragile and incapable. But here's the truth: independence is not just about mobility, it's about dignity. Living alone after 65 allows seniors to preserve their independence in ways that are deeply satisfying and life-affirming. When you live on your own, you make choices about your meals, your sleep, your hobbies, and your social life. You don't have to eat dinner at 7 because someone else insists. You don't have to attend family events if you're tired. You don't have to sacrifice your comfort to please others. This personal freedom is a form of medicine for the spirit. Psychologists emphasize that autonomy, the ability to make your own decisions, is directly tied to happiness, reduced depression, and even longer lifespan. Seniors who maintain autonomy often recover from illness faster because they feel in control, not helpless. Imagine two people of the same age, 70 years old. One lives in a family home with children, grandchildren, noise, and constant obligations. The other lives alone. The first one may feel loved, but he also feels restricted, unable to rest when he wants, eat what he craves, or enjoy silence. The second one may have fewer people around, but he enjoys freedom. He wakes up when his body wants, goes for walks when he pleases, arranges his home in his own way. Which life feels healthier? For many, the answer is clear. There's also the question of dignity in aging. Many seniors secretly admit they don't like to depend on others for every small need. Living alone forces you to stay active, cooking, cleaning, organizing, and managing your home. These small acts are not burdens, they are the daily exercises that keep your body and brain alert. Studies show seniors who engage in self-care activities have lower risks of dementia and physical decline. One woman, age 74, said it beautifully: "My children begged me to move in with them, but I said no. I want to wake up in my own bed, cook my own meals, and be the queen of my little home. That independence is my joy." Practical advice for seniors who live alone. Small steps can enhance safety while preserving freedom, like installing grab bars, using medical alert systems, and organizing their home for convenience. These adjustments allow seniors to live independently without fear. Ultimately, freedom is not about isolation, it's about choice. And after 65, when so much of life feels beyond your control, health, age, even energy levels, the freedom to choose your daily life is the most precious gift you can give yourself. Reason 3. Better health and self-care awareness. Health after 65 becomes the cornerstone of life. Every ache, every pain, every lab test suddenly means more than it did in your 40s or 50s. And here's something experts often say, but families rarely realize: when you live with too many people around you, it's easy to put your own health in the background. You eat what the family eats, you move according to their schedule, you rest when they allow you to, and your own needs often become secondary. Living alone changes that dynamic completely. It gives seniors the opportunity to listen to their bodies more closely and act upon what they feel. If you're tired, you can rest. If your stomach is sensitive, you can cook lighter meals just for yourself. If you need to drink more water, you can make it a habit without anyone interrupting or questioning you. In other words, living alone forces you to become more aware of your body and its signals. Doctors often emphasize that self-care awareness is one of the most powerful tools against age-related decline. When you live alone, you can design your lifestyle around your health. Eating meals that match your digestion instead of heavy family dinners. Sleeping when your body naturally feels sleepy, rather than adjusting to the noise or schedule of others. Creating a daily exercise routine, even if it's just gentle stretches or walking around your apartment without anyone rushing you. Keeping your home organized in ways that reduce fall risk, something that's harder in crowded households. Let's not forget another powerful aspect: mental health. Seniors who live in noisy or stressful households often feel overlooked or even invisible. They may not have the mental space to reflect on their own well-being. But when you live alone, the quiet gives you the time to notice how your mind and body are doing. Are you feeling anxious? Are you sleeping well? Are you experiencing new symptoms? This awareness means you're more likely to take early action, visiting a doctor, adjusting your habits, or seeking therapy if needed. For example, a 69-year-old retired teacher once shared that, after moving into her own place, she realized she was ignoring her blood pressure problem for years because she was too busy caring for grandchildren. Living alone gave her the space to monitor her readings daily and adjust her diet. Within months, her health improved. Practical advice: seniors living alone can enhance self-care by keeping a health journal where they track sleep, meals, moods, and symptoms. This practice helps catch small problems before they grow big. Technology also helps. Devices like smartwatches or reminder apps ensure medicines and hydration are never forgotten. In the end, health is not only about what doctors do for you, it's about how much attention you give to yourself daily. Living alone after 65 creates the perfect environment for that attention, because your health becomes the top priority, not the last on the list. Reason 4. Freedom to build a meaningful daily routine. After 65, one of the most important factors for happiness and longevity isn't money or even perfect health, it's routine. Human beings thrive on structure, but not just any structure. We thrive when we have a routine that reflects our personal needs, values, and rhythms. When you live with others, whether it's adult children, grandchildren, or even extended family, your routine often becomes compromised. You wake up when the household wakes up, you eat when meals are prepared for everyone, and you spend your days accommodating the needs of others. While this may seem harmless, it often prevents seniors from living in alignment with their own body clock and personal desires. Living alone after 65 opens the door to a very powerful gift: the ability to design your own daily life. You can decide when to rise, when to rest, what activities to prioritize, and what to leave behind. For example, if you want to wake up early at 5 a.m. to enjoy the sunrise with a cup of tea, you can. If you prefer sleeping in until 9 a.m. because your body feels better rested, you can. If you want to dedicate 1 full hour in the morning to prayer, meditation, or journaling, no one interrupts. If you enjoy gardening or evening walks, you can schedule them without compromise. This freedom creates a routine that is not only healthy but meaningful. Seniors often discover passions they never had time for in their busy family life: painting, reading novels, volunteering, playing a musical instrument, or simply spending time in quiet reflection. These activities are not time fillers, they are what psychologists call flow activities, things that give life depth, joy, and purpose. Researchers from Stanford University found that seniors who had self-structured routines lived longer, reported lower stress, and even had stronger immune systems. Why? Because routine reduces uncertainty. When you know what your day looks like, your mind relaxes. You feel grounded, you feel safe. Let's think of a simple example, a 70-year-old man who lives with his children and grandchildren. His mornings are chaotic, full of noise, school schedules, and household chores that don't fit his energy levels. He feels tired and out of place. Now imagine the same man living alone. Another benefit of living alone is that your routine is personalized to your health. You can schedule medication times properly without being rushed. You can plan meals around your dietary needs, whether that means smaller, lighter dinners or meals rich in certain nutrients. You can rest after lunch if your body demands it, instead of forcing yourself to remain active because the household is noisy. Most importantly, this kind of routine gives life meaning. It transforms your days from random survival into intentional living. And at this stage of life, after 65, meaningful days are the true definition of wealth. Reason 5. Reduce stress and emotional peace. One of the greatest silent killers in old age isn't always disease, poor diet, or lack of exercise. It is chronic stress. Stress creeps into the mind and body slowly like smoke filling a room. Seniors who carry stress live with higher blood pressure, weaker immunity, poor sleep, and faster cognitive decline. Doctors often say, stress ages you faster than time itself. Now here's the truth, many seniors don't realize that their living environment is their biggest source of stress. Living in a house full of noise, arguments, obligations, or constant activity often keeps the body in a state of fight or flight. Even if family members mean well, the constant pull of other people's needs can weigh heavily on someone over 65. But when you live alone, you are given the gift of emotional quietness. This doesn't mean loneliness, it means space to breathe. It means the freedom to process your own thoughts, to let go of unnecessary worries, and to find calm in your own rhythm. Think about mornings. Living alone in the morning can become a sacred ritual, slowly sipping tea, watching the sunrise, perhaps writing in a journal. That kind of beginning lowers stress hormones and sets the tone for a calm day. Science backs this up. A study published in the journals of gerontology found that seniors who experienced fewer daily stressors, things like interruptions, arguments, and noise, had sharper memory and reduced risk of dementia. Living alone naturally reduces these daily stressors, which allows the brain and heart to function more efficiently. There's also the emotional side. Stress in old age often comes from feeling obligated to meet others' expectations. Maybe a senior feels pressured to babysit grandchildren, even when tired. Maybe they feel they must adjust their diet to match the family's meals instead of what their doctor recommends, or maybe they feel disrespected when their voice is ignored in household decisions. All of these create emotional stress. Living alone removes this weight. You no longer have to compromise your peace for others' convenience. You can say yes when you want and no when you need to, without guilt. That freedom nurtures a sense of dignity, which is often overlooked in old age. Let's hear a real example. A 74-year-old widow once shared, "When I lived with my daughter's family, I loved being close to my grandchildren, but I often felt invisible. They made decisions without me, meals were noisy, and I always felt like a guest in my own home. After moving into a small apartment alone, I rediscovered calm. Now, even silence feels like companionship." In the end, living alone after 65 doesn't mean isolation. It means choosing peace over chaos, calm over stress, and dignity over compromise. That emotional balance can easily add years to life and, more importantly, add life to those years. Reason 6. Stronger self-identity and personal growth. One of the most overlooked truths about aging is that many seniors lose their sense of self. For decades, they may have defined themselves as parents, workers, caregivers, or spouses. But after retirement, after the children move away, and sometimes after the loss of a partner, seniors are left asking, "Who am I now?" Living with others often makes this question harder. Why? Because when surrounded by family or community, a senior is often pulled back into roles: the grandmother who cooks, the grandfather who fixes things, the old person who needs help. While these roles can feel meaningful, they can also limit growth. They can prevent a person from rediscovering who they are outside of responsibilities. Psychologists emphasize the importance of self-identity for mental health. Seniors who maintain a strong sense of individuality are less likely to suffer from depression, cognitive decline, or feelings of worthlessness. When you live alone, every choice you make, from what to eat for dinner to what time to sleep, reinforces that you are still in charge of your life and that you are still you. Let me share a story. A 69-year-old retired nurse once described how living alone helped her heal. She said, "All my life, I took care of others, my children, my patients, my husband. When I was alone for the first time at 66, I was scared. But then, I began painting. Slowly, I realized I had a voice, a vision. For the first time, I felt like I was meeting myself." This is the hidden power of solitude in old age. Instead of fearing loneliness, seniors can use it as a laboratory of self-discovery. Alone time can lead to spiritual growth, deeper understanding of life, and acceptance of aging. It can also inspire a legacy, writing memoirs, recording family history, or mentoring the younger generation on one's own terms. Another important layer is mental sharpness. When seniors engage in self-driven growth, reading, studying, exploring, creating, the brain forms new neural connections. This is called neuroplasticity. Research shows that active, mentally engaged seniors lower their risk of dementia significantly. Living alone gives them the mental space to pursue this kind of growth without distraction. Practical advice: seniors living alone should dedicate specific time to self-growth. Create a personal project, whether it's a small garden, an art journal, or a daily walk where reflections are recorded. Join online classes to learn new skills. Even something as simple as cooking a new recipe each week builds identity, pride, and joy. So, while the world may see living alone as a sign of isolation, in reality, it is often the opposite. It is a chance to meet oneself again, to grow in wisdom, and to shape the final chapters of life with purpose and authenticity. In short, living alone after 65 isn't just about surviving. It's about thriving as your truest self.